some more people there now. That's good. So who we got? I'm recording now. Got all these folks. Ayman, Aisha, Abdullah, Farida, Maha, Mohammed. Thanks for coming, guys and girls. And I'm just going to take a snip. Now, there's other ways that I can see what you're doing, but this is easy. For heaven's sakes. Tell you what, the Zoom windows, they don't automatically sort of go back into the background. I mean, they're just there. All right, so we're going to get input, which is the radius. And from the radius, we're going to calculate the perimeter and area. And so we got a calculation for the perimeter, which is that, and we got the area calculation, which is that. So what we should probably do is we have a function for each of those, right? So we're going to have one which is going to be circle area and circle. Does it give us names for them? Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to call it C area, the circle area. And so circle area doesn't have an input. Well, yes, it does. And so we'll say the input is R for radius. And then what it does is it calculates and just prints it out. I mean, it's very simple sort of thing, right? So the area takes the value of the radius, the radius squared. Well, you could do that as a power. That'd be kind of cool for math, right? I think we have a math power. And that's a dot power. And so with power, you got an X and a Y. It's showing you the X and the Y there. The X is the value that's going to be raised to a power. Well, that's going to be R. And the power it's going to be raised to is 2. So that takes the R and squares it. I could have just done R times R, would have been less. But hey, we're using math functions, so why don't we play with them, right? So A is going to be that multiplied by pi. And the problem with that is that pi is basically a special math function. So that's what I would do there. And then we could just return A. So that's how we get the area. You're going to put in that. And so we could, so if this is the main here. And then in the main, we're getting that. Oh, not finished there. That's why it wasn't going down. So we could say that our area of a circle is equal to C area, which is that function of the radius. It's kind of a silly sort of little program, but that'll work. And the other thing that we need to do is we need to calculate the perimeter. So our circle perimeter. And that's also going to take the radius as an input. And it's going to return the perimeter. So we'll make perimeter P. So the calculation of the perimeter is 2 pi r. So that's equal to 2 times pi, and again, math dot pi times r. And then we can just say down here, we can say the perimeter takes the value of calling this function and passing the parameter, which is the radius, and it will pass out the perimeter. So now we have to print those two things. So that would be here. be a print. I'll do that twice. 2 prints. So the first one is going to be the circle, the perimeter of the circle, right? And here we have to put what is a perimeter. You could do a comma, or you could convert it to a string. I'll convert it to a string because I like that better. And this value here is going to be the perimeter. Just copy and paste that. And then the next one is going to be the area. It's going to be there. And again, we'll just put the string in there. And that's area. You could type it in, of course. And I think that's it for that. So that's exercise 1. That's how I would do it. Down here is the main. The functions work with 2 steps. First step is to define the function. So we've got an area, which is just inputs a radius, and then there's a formula which we use. We raise the radius to the power of 2 and then multiply it by pi. So that's 2 pi r. Sorry, pi r squared. 2 pi r is perimeter. Anyways, let's run those and see. So this is lab 12. Lab 12, problem 1. And we'll do it with the test data that they've got there and see if our program works. So the test data that they've got our sample run 6.2. Yes, we got the same numbers that they got. So that means that we've done it in the same way. Doesn't necessarily mean we've done it right, but well, we'll trust that we have. So that's exercise 2. We've done exercise 2 because exercise 2 says that we should do it with functions. So, okay, so we did exercise 1 and 2 together. Exercise 2 is done. Oh, that was good. Now we're supposed to add two new functions, which are square perimeter and square area. And all you do is enter a side. Oh, that's easy. So let's do those. The formula for the square perimeter is, so I guess I should use the names that they tell me to use. Let's use them. We got square perimeter. I didn't do that last time because I was just sort of charging ahead. Sorry about that. So square perimeter is going to return a perimeter. I'll call, and what is the formula? You're going to pass in a side. You pass in the side. You get the side and you convert it to a perimeter. Basically, with a square, it's just 4 times, right? Square perimeter of a square is equal to the side times 4. 4 times the side. That's pretty easy. All right. And then the other one is the square area, and that's just the square raised to the power of 2, or you could say square times square. It's up to you. Again, we're going to read in this, the length of the side, because the square, all the sides are the same length. So you could say that the area is equal to the side raised to the power. So you could say math power. Math power of the side raised to the squared. That's it. Now there's a lot of extra typing that I did here. I mean, you know, We could have just replaced this whole thing with just this. But well, I mean, I don't know why. It's kind of trivial to have functions that do so little. But yeah, but we got them. So there you go. We got them. All right. So if we're going to do this, we would have to. It wants you to do the. Okay, and so we've done that, and then it's asking for the side of the square, and it's going to print the perimeter of the square and the area of the square. So we need to do that now. Actually, by the time we've done this, we're finished, because I see is to turn it into, oh, the last thing we have to do is find out what's the largest perimeter and the largest area. And so it indicates at the end which shape has the largest perimeter and which one has the largest area. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Yep. Okay. So we need to, in the main, we need to get the side. Side is going to be equal to, it's also going to be a float, I guess. And this is where we're going to ask the people to enter we're going to ask the user to enter the length of the side of the, enter the side of the square. Oh, well, actually, it's not a float. That's an integer, isn't it? I don't know. We'll let them enter it. We'll let them enter a float anyways. So we ask them to enter the side of the square, and then we can just convert and do these. So done this before. We're gonna have two prints, which is the perimeter and the area of the square. So now after this, you've got assignment, and I'm supposed to let you do that on your own, so I think I will. So the perimeter of the square is and the area of the square is and yeah, almost finished. So that's the, we haven't actually calculated the perimeter yet. What's happening?
What's happening? What is that doing?
I think there's a lot of them that are watching this on Zoom. So we need to calculate these things here, square. You know what? We can just do it. So yeah, let's do that. You can actually call a function from within a print statement. Let's do it. We can do that. So inside this string function, we can call these two things. So the first one is the perimeter. So I'm going to call that. It's a square perimeter. So we're actually calling the function inside another function. You can do that. And this is going to be the parameter passed is the side. I'm just going to make this bigger so we can see that. And we'll do the same for the area. Let's call it from. Can actually put it right into a print statement. But of course, you have to have the right parameter. So that will, I think, work to give us the results. Now that we've got one other thing that we have to do is we have to find out which thing is bigger. So we ask them to do this. All right, so which number is bigger? So which perimeter is bigger? We check the two perimeters. Okay, so we're going to have an if statement here, right? So if what? First one would be, what is the biggest perimeter? So we got two perimeters here, right? You know what? Okay, well, we can put the function in here. So if perimeter, we've got one perimeter that we've calculated. This perimeter is the perimeter of the circle. So if that perimeter is bigger than this perimeter, you can do this. So I'm just showing you there's different ways of doing the. So we're actually inside the if statement, we're calling a function. You can do that. So we've called a function inside a print statement. We're also going to call a function inside an if condition. So if the perimeter is bigger than, and of course the first perimeter that it's talking about there is the perimeter of the circle. So what this is the, if the circle perimeter is bigger than the square perimeter. That's what we're asking. But because this is the circle perimeter, right? This is the circle perimeter. Right. So if it is, then we're going to say the what it is and that it's larger than the circle. All right, so I'm going to copy all of that. And so if it's that, then we assume, oh, that's kind of bad that I put that on there because it's going to bring it down the next line, isn't it? So we're going to have this print statement. I'm going to cut this stuff off and put it back up here where I meant it to be. Got 10 people there, 9 people online. All right, so this is going to be this statement here. It's a big long one. So let's just check our condition. Oh man, it's too big to fit in one line, isn't it? What could we do? Well, we could go to another line. How do we do that? I remember it's a new line or something, right? So we could I just put it like that. Just I think it right in the text. Oh. No, I'm just going to leave it. We can have more than one print statement. That might be easier. Easy is good. Is larger. Okay, so what we could do here is we could do that end equals, just have a space so that it stays in the same line, is larger than the perimeter of the circle of radius. Okay, square. So this number we need to replace with if so we would say the perimeter, this is going to be less than instead of a bigger than. So if the perimeter, this is basically saying if the square perimeter is bigger than the circle perimeter, then we're going to say the perimeter of the square of side, whatever the side of the square is, well, it's called side, is larger than the perimeter of the circle of radius, and we replace this with and the radius was there, radius. We use radius with those. So that's fine. So that's what it's going to be like that. Else, we do the other thing, which is, it's going to be kind of like this. So I'm just going to copy this. It's going to be the other way around, isn't it? I do it lazy man's way. I'm just going to change the word larger to smaller. Is smaller. And I think that's all. So there's your program, I think. We've got 4 functions there, and these are so trivial. I mean, really, in real sort of programming, you're probably not going to do stuff like that. I mean, you've got a function that does one statement. So it's kind of like, why would you do that? But so why would we do it? Because we're getting the idea of how functions work, I suppose. But so where are all the functions called? Here's where we're calling a function that calculates the area of a circle. Here we're calling a function which calculates the perimeter of a circle. Then we got some functions that we're calling actually inside a print statement. So there they are, where we calculate the perimeter of a square, and here we're calculating the area of a square inside a print statement. Because we can do that because if we look, what do they return? They just return a number. We know it's a number because we're doing math on it, so it must be a number. And so they're returning a number, so we're going to change that number into a string and print it. And let's go and have a look. Okay, so the radius of the circle, we should be looking at some radius of circle. Yeah, okay. So 6. Is that right? Radius of the circle 6. And 37, yeah, those are the same numbers. And the radius of the square, or sorry, the side of the square is 10. And same numbers. And yeah, the perimeter of the square side 10 is larger than the perimeter of the circles. Yeah, that worked. And we should do it again with a 10 and a 10. So let's go back to our function, to our program, and run it again with a 10 and a 10. Let's, I can't see. Close that, and we'll kill it so that we can bring it back to life in a way that we can see it. So 10 and 10, right? 10 and 10. And so our output now should be like this stuff in Microsoft Word. Let's see. 10 and 10, 62, 314, 62, 314, 40 and 100. Yep, it's all looking good. Okay. Perimeter square of side is smaller. So here it's saying this perimeter of the circle. So yeah, same idea. The area. Oh, we didn't do the area bit. So one more if else. All right. So we thought we were done, but we're not quite. We have another if else sort of thing, and I can't. I think we can reproduce it like this. No, it's all there. We did the square and we did the perimeter. I think that's it. Sorry? Nothing. Let's go back and have a look. What did I think? Perimeter of the circle, perimeter of the square. Yeah, which one is larger? So let's look at our output. Perimeter of the square 10 is smaller. I mean, in the other one, it would say the perimeter of the circle is larger. So it's the same idea. The area of the square. Do the area. Oh yeah, we haven't done the area. All we've done is a perimeter. Let's go back and look at that code. Perimeter square. Yeah, so we do need to do it again. Sorry, I did leave one part out. My apologies. But I'm going to copy all of this. And I'm going to, because it's going to be so similar. But in the second place, we're not going to be talking about perimeter. We're going to be talking about area. The area of is, and how did we calculate area of the square area? So if the area is less, if the circle area square area okay, so that's okay. And then otherwise, again, we're going to just do area. And I think that's all we needed to do. We just needed to test to see if the area, okay, was, we tested this perimeter here, we tested the area here. So that's why I was able to use the same code. Let's run it and see. So this is the 10-10 thing. The perimeter of square of side 10 is smaller than the perimeter of a circle radius 10. So let's see if that's true. Perimeter of square is 40 and the perimeter of a circle is 62. So that's true. And then the area of the square 10 is smaller than the area of the circle 10. So the area of the circle is 300 and the area of the square is 100. So it's working. Working just like a ripper. Okay. So any questions? Let's see who we got here. We got like 9 students. So thank you for coming, 9 students. Hope you had a nice iftar. Where are you? Where's my, there it is. And
Fehlerliste.
yeah, all it shows is running out of time. Yeah, great. So come back, new. There we go. So I've got who's attended. I can mark you guys present. Any questions? This is the code. It's quite a lot, isn't it? I mean, you know, it doesn't actually fit in the screen.
How about, let's do it. Copy paste on that. Send it. So it's really too much to write.
Yeah. And well, you watch the video, right? You watch the last 2 minutes of the video and you'll see it. Okay, I'm going to stop recording now.
I couldn't